The real reason Shedeur Sanders isn't Cleveland's QB2, per Ian Rapoport. When the Cleveland Browns drafted Shedeur Sanders, the highly publicized son of Hall of Famer and Colorado head coach Deion Sanders, expectations immediately skyrocketed. Some fans believed he could quickly rise through the ranks and perhaps even challenge for the starting quarterback role sooner rather than later. But as the Browns enter Week 5 of the NFL season, Sanders still finds himself sitting third on the depth chart. According to NFL Network insider Ian Rapoport, there's a very specific reason for that decision, and it's not because the Browns lack faith in the rookie's long-term future. Instead, the Browns coaching staff has made a deliberate, strategic choice. They want to ensure Sanders enters the spotlight only when he's fully prepared, supported by a game plan crafted specifically for his strengths. That approach explains why Sanders isn't Cleveland's QB2 for Week 5, even as starter Dillon Gabriel takes the reins and veteran Joe Flacco holds the backup spot. Why Sanders isn't the backup? Rapoport explained that the Browns are cautious about the scenario in which Sanders would have to step in suddenly if he were the designated backup. In that case, he'd be forced to run an offense tailored for Gabriel, not himself. Gabriel, the rookie starter, has a different skill set, quick release, spread concepts, and more timing-based passing. Sanders, meanwhile, thrives when the offense allows him to improvise, extend plays with his legs, and take advantage of vertical throws. If Shedeur Sanders were forced into action as the backup, Rapoport noted, he'd be running a game plan built for Gabriel rather than one designed to maximize what Sanders does best. From the Browns' perspective, that would not be fair to the young quarterback, nor would it be the best chance to win. The Flacco factor. Another key reason Sanders remains in the QB3 role is the presence of Joe Flacco, the veteran who has nearly 20 years of NFL experience. While Flacco is no longer the long-term answer for any franchise, his steadiness, knowledge of defenses, and ability to operate an offense on short notice make him the ideal emergency option. If Gabriel struggles or suffers an injury, Flacco can quickly step in without the coaching staff having to overhaul the playbook. This distinction is important. Flacco is not blocking Sanders because of talent. He's simply a safer option for in-game scenarios where adaptation, not development, is the priority. The Browns trust Flacco to protect the football, read defenses, and manage the clock, things that take most rookies, including Sanders, time to master. Development over urgency. Rapoport emphasized that the Browns remain high on Sanders. Coaches reportedly love his poise, natural leadership, and the confidence he carries into the huddle. His college career at Colorado showcased his ability to remain calm under pressure, lead comebacks, and keep games competitive even when the roster around him wasn't elite. That same resiliency has impressed Cleveland during practices. But the Browns are drawing a line between potential and readiness. Just because Sanders can become a successful NFL quarterback doesn't mean Week 5 is the right time to push him into action. Too many franchises have made the mistake of rushing young quarterbacks onto the field, only to see their confidence shattered and their progress stalled. Cleveland doesn't want Sanders to become another cautionary tale. A tailored debut. According to Rapoport, the Browns' plan is to give Sanders his first real opportunity only when the coaching staff can build an offense around him for that week. That means scripting plays designed for his mobility, his rhythm-based passing, and his ability to throw accurately on the move. By controlling the conditions of his debut, they hope to set him up for success rather than survival. This approach mirrors what successful franchises have done with young quarterbacks in the past. The Kansas City Chiefs famously sat Patrick Mahomes behind Alex Smith until the final game of his rookie season, ensuring that his first start came with a week's preparation. Similarly, the Baltimore Ravens crafted a unique run-heavy scheme around Lamar Jackson once they made him the starter, instead of asking him to replicate Joe Flacco's style. Cleveland appears to be taking a page out of that playbook. The draft day context. It's also important to remember the circumstances of Sanders' arrival in Cleveland. Though he entered the draft with plenty of hype, he slid to the 5th round, in part because scouts questioned his readiness for the NFL. Some analysts pointed to his tendency to hold onto the ball too long and his need to adjust to faster pass rushers at the professional level. That slide doesn't mean teams didn't believe in his upside, it meant they saw him as a developmental project. Cleveland knew this when they drafted him. By keeping him in the QB3 role for now, the Browns are simply sticking to the long-term plan they envisioned from the start. A long-term investment. For Browns fans, the decision may feel like a disappointment in the short term. The excitement around Sanders, fueled by his college highlights and the charisma he inherited from his father, created expectations that he would climb the depth chart quickly. But the Browns' patience signals something important. They see Sanders as a long-term investment, not a quick-fix solution. By protecting him now, they hope to unleash a more polished version of Sanders later. That could come this season, if circumstances align, or it may be pushed into future years. Either way, the Browns are playing the long game, balancing now and later. The bigger picture for Cleveland is balancing immediate competitiveness with long-term growth. Gabriel, as the starter, is getting the chance to prove he can lead the team week to week. Flacco provides insurance in case things go wrong. And Sanders, meanwhile, develops behind the scenes, free from the scrutiny and pressure that often derail young quarterbacks. From an organizational standpoint, it's a smart distribution of roles. The Browns aren't asking Sanders to save the season. They're asking him to learn, prepare, and eventually thrive when the spotlight is his. The waiting game. The most likely outcome, according to Rapoport, is that Sanders eventually gets playing time later in the season. That might come if Gabriel falters badly or if the Browns' playoff hopes dwindle and the franchise wants to evaluate its young asset in live action. When that day comes, Cleveland will ensure he's not stepping in cold. Instead, they'll build an offense around his skill set. Until then, fans will have to wait. It may not be the most exciting short-term decision, but it could prove to be the smartest long-term one. Conclusion. Ian Rapoport's revelation sheds light on the Browns' true mindset regarding Shedeur Sanders. He's not Cleveland's QB2 in Week 5 not because he lacks talent, but because the organization wants to protect his development. The presence of Joe Flacco gives the Browns a stable veteran in emergencies, while Dillon Gabriel gets his chance to prove himself as the starter.